I paid off my parents' debt, then they gave everything to my brother because he needed it more. Imagine working your entire adult life to save your parents, only for them to reward your brother, the one who did nothing. Would you forgive them or finally walk away? When I was 26, my parents called me in tears. They were drowning in debt. Years of poor decisions, medical bills, and bad loans had finally caught up to them. Their house was about to be repossessed. The bank was done waiting. I was their last hope, and I answered without hesitation. I didn't ask questions. I didn't scold them. I just moved back in, put my own plans on hold, and threw myself into fixing everything. I canceled a job offer overseas, sold my car. I worked 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week. Every cent I earned went toward clearing their name. They said thank you. They called me a blessing. My dad told his friends that I was the backbone of the family. My mom hugged me every time she saw a new debt disappear. I felt proud. Not because I needed praise, but because I thought I was making things right. For them. For us. In 2 years, I paid off over $100,000. It drained me, emotionally and physically. But it also gave me hope. I imagined a future where we could all breathe, where my parents could grow old in peace, and I could finally chase the life I had put on pause. I asked for nothing in return, not even a room of my own. I just wanted to be included, to be seen, to be part of the family I had just rescued. And for a little while, it felt like I was. We had dinners together again, laughed like we used to. I thought I had finally earned my place. But when loyalty becomes a one-way street, it always leads to heartbreak. Derek showed up on a Sunday morning like nothing had happened. He hadn't been home in years. The last time we heard from him, he was living in another state, chasing some failed business dream. No warning, no call. Just a knock on the door, a duffel bag, and that familiar smug grin on his face. My parents lit up like it was Christmas. My mom cried, pulled him into a hug, and kept saying how much she missed him. My dad slapped him on the back and called him my boy. I stood there in the hallway, exhausted from another night shift, invisible in my own house. He had no job, no savings, and no real explanation. Just vague stories about bad luck and people screwing him over. But that didn't matter. To them, he was home, and that was all that mattered. My parents told him to stay as long as he needed. I already knew what that meant, indefinitely. At first, I tried to stay out of the way. Let them reconnect. Maybe Derek had changed. Maybe this time would be different. But within days, I saw the pattern return. He slept in late, left dirty dishes everywhere, and laughed too loudly at his own jokes. I cleaned. I cooked. I worked. He lounged. One night at dinner, my mom made his favorite dish and told me, "Your brother's been through a lot. Be patient with him." I stared at her. I wanted to scream, but I just nodded and kept chewing, because I had learned long ago that raising your voice in this house only made you the villain. Then one morning, I overheard my parents talking in the kitchen. My dad said, "Josh has done enough. It's time we help Derek." My mom agreed. She said he needed a fresh start. My heart sank. I didn't know what they meant yet, but I knew that somehow it would come at my expense. I thought I'd earned my place in their hearts. I was wrong. It started with a letter, a formal envelope from a law office addressed to me. I thought it was a mistake at first. I hadn't done anything legal lately. But when I opened it, my hands went cold. It was confirmation of a title transfer. The house I helped save was no longer in my parents' name. It was now under Derek's. I sat down, heart pounding, reading every word twice. My name wasn't mentioned anywhere. No explanation. No notice. Just a final sentence stating that Derek was now the legal owner of the property. I thought there had to be some mistake. I called the law office. They confirmed it. No mistake. No room for interpretation. I rushed home, letter in hand, storming through the front door. My parents were sitting in the living room, watching TV like nothing had happened. I held up the letter. "What is this?" I asked. My dad muted the TV. My mom shifted nervously. They didn't look surprised. just uncomfortable. My mother spoke first. Derek needs stability. He's starting over. We thought giving him the house would help. I stared at her in disbelief. You thought? I repeated. You thought giving him the house I saved was fair? My father jumped in. Josh, we know what you've done for us. But Derek, he's struggling. I felt like I had been punched. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. After everything, they still saw him as the one who needed protecting. I had carried them out of financial ruin. And now, they handed the one thing I had helped them keep to the person who never lifted a finger. I asked if they even planned to tell me. My mother said they didn't want to hurt me, that they knew I'd be upset. We just hoped you'd understand with time, she added. My father nodded like that made it okay. I was speechless. They had made the decision behind my back, erased me without hesitation. They didn't even tell me. I found out from a lawyer. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the conversation in my head. Their words, their excuses. The way they spoke about Derek like he was a child and I was just expendable. I had to say more. I needed to hear it from them, clearly. I needed to know if they truly believed I meant so little. The next morning, I sat them down at the kitchen table, the same table where I once signed a check to stop the foreclosure. I looked my father in the eye and asked, "Did you ever consider me? When you handed him the deed, did you even stop to think what that would do to me?" He looked away. My mom said softly, "Josh, you're strong. Derek isn't. He needs more help than you do." I almost laughed. That was their defense? That because I was responsible, I should be punished? That because I sacrificed, I should be expected to keep sacrificing until there was nothing left? I asked them if they thought Derek deserved the house more than I did. My father shrugged. He's family, and family helps family. I stared at him, stunned. What do you think I've been doing all these years? Who do you think paid off your debts, kept the lights on, made sure you still had a place to live? Derek walked into the room halfway through. He didn't look guilty, just bored. You always thought you were better than me, he said. But you're not. Mom and Dad love us both. You're just mad they did something nice for me. I stood up. My hands were shaking. It wasn't just betrayal. It was erasure. They didn't see me anymore. I was a tool that had outlived its use. Derek didn't care. My parents were too wrapped in their fantasy of family unity to see the damage they caused. And me? I was done begging. Done proving myself. I didn't belong in that house anymore, even if I had paid for it. It wasn't just betrayal. It was erasure. I packed my things that night. Not because they asked me to leave, but because I couldn't stand to stay. Every wall felt like it was closing in. Every photo, every piece of furniture reminded me of everything I had given up, and how easily they had chosen someone else over me. I didn't slam the door. I didn't shout. I just left quietly, with a single suitcase and the clothes on my back. I moved into a small apartment across town. No furniture. No memories. Just space to breathe. For the first time in years, I was alone. And strangely, that felt like freedom. I didn't tell anyone what happened. I didn't want sympathy. I didn't want pity. I just wanted to rebuild, to find out who I was without the weight of family expectations. Without being the fixer, the silent son who carried everyone else's burdens while his own dreams rotted in the background. A week after I left, my mother called. I didn't answer. Then came the messages. "We miss you. Derek is struggling. You're being unfair." I deleted them all. I wasn't being unfair. I was finally choosing myself. And for people who never once chose me, that was apparently unforgivable. I got a second job. Started saving again. Slowly, I built a new life. One where I wasn't constantly proving my worth. I found joy in small things. Cooking for myself. Sleeping in silence. Walking without pressure. I didn't have a family anymore. But I had peace. And for the first time, that was enough. Sometimes, the only way to stop being the scapegoat is to leave the barn. And once you taste peace, You stop craving approval from people who never saw your value in the first place. It's been almost a year since I walked away. No holidays. No phone calls. No fake smiles across the dinner table. People still ask if I miss them. The truth is, I miss who I thought they were. I miss the version of my parents I created in my mind, the ones who would never let me down. But those people weren't real. What was real was the silence when I needed them most. The way they justified betrayal. The way they handed my efforts to someone else and told me I should understand, that I should be proud, that I should be strong. But strength doesn't mean self-destruction. I've learned that family is not about blood. It's about effort, respect, and mutual care. I've met people since then who've shown me more kindness than my own parents ever did. People who check in, who remember my birthday, who see me for who I am, not just for what I can do for them. I sometimes wonder if Derek still lives in that house, if he ever thinks about me, if he ever realizes what was lost. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Either way, it's no longer my problem. That house was never truly mine. Not because I didn't own it, but because I was never welcome in it. Now I live in a smaller place, but it's filled with peace. My fridge isn't always full, but the silence doesn't feel heavy. It feels honest. And every day, I remind myself, I am not selfish for walking away. I am not cruel for choosing myself. I am simply done being the one who's always expected to give. Some stories don't have happy endings, but they can have honest ones, and sometimes that's better. What about you? If your parents gave everything you work for to the one who never lifted a finger, would you still call them family? Or would you finally walk away like I did?